I'm going to dictate what the news is.
Right, and we're not going to let you talk about any negative things, anything, investigations on any Democratic candidate. So that's going to all be, not out there. And but that gives you an example. Again, that's why they said he'd be everybody's nightmare come true. In that same vein, unfortunately, Virginia Governor Ralph Northam, and I think most people know by now that the Democrats have controlled the House and the Senate, and now they have a Democratic governor in Virginia, first time in 26 years. And the proposals, you should really get on there. If you even have an interest in the Second Amendment, they are just talking about banning everything. They've already introduced pre-election proposals. Anything with a pistol grip. If you have a .22 bolt-action rifle and has a pistol grip, that's an assault weapon, and it's banned, and that is what they want to do. Hadn't happened yet, but those proposals have already been submitted. So what has happened? We talked last week about a sheriff who said, look, he's a Second Amendment sheriff in one of the counties, in Culpeper County, and I was raised in Virginia, born in Ohio, came back, but I was raised there. So that's an incredibly patriotic state. I mean, the Revolutionary War, that is where that's where everybody was basically founded there for the Revolution. That is where, in the Civil War, the more battles were fought on Virginia soil than any other state. They are really steeped in this. And so what Culpeper Sheriff says, hey, we're not going to follow this. If I have to deputize thousands of citizens in my county, I have the right to do that, and we are not going to be confiscating any of these guns. So that sounded like a one-offer. Not so. One of our good friends, Tom, who happens to be sitting here in the audience today, I've been trying to keep an update on it, but other counties have joined. I remember when it was 40, then a couple days later 50. Now we said this morning 84 counties have become Second Amendment sanctuary counties in the state of Virginia. Well, there are only 95 counties, so if you have 84 of the 95 said, we are not going to follow these rules and regs. So now the governor, he's been interviewed about this, and they said, hey, are you going to take retaliation against these counties? And his response was, oh, no, I don't retaliate, but there will be consequences. So divide those two words and see what you come up with.
So, JC, the thing to me that shocked me, and this is something I haven't seen in my lifetime, is they're threatening to bring out the National Guard.
Well, this is making the news. I love it with all the armored personnel vehicles rolling down the road is what they use for the background. But this came from the U.S. Congressman, Democratic Congressman for Virginia. His name is Donald McEachin. And he said, well, the governor may just have to, he has the power to activate the National Guard and have them go down and enforce the laws. So I said, that's going to look really good for the Democrats, having armored personnel vehicles traveling down to find a 17-year-old girl shooting a gun on her own property, which would be illegal under the new laws. This could be something. The people down there, think about that. That 84 right now out of 95 counties have said we're not going to do this, and it puts them in a really bad place.
Whatever happened to the will of the people?
Yeah,
that is a start of a revolution,
and that's where it started back in.
That is peaceful.
In the 1700s.
Right now, it's peaceful. You bring in the National Guard, which would be an absolute asinine thing to do, but I wouldn't put it past the Democrats.
Nope.
And to do something like that, I think that's just going to aggravate the situation big time.
It will blow up.
It's not going to help them in the elections next year, I'll tell you that. Well, guys, when we get back from the break, we're going to get to more news because there's some other interesting items that are out there that will make you shake your head. We're on Target. We're broadcasting live from the studios of LEPD Firearms and Range. We'll be right back after the break.
Your traffic and weather station. Every 10 minutes on the 10s. When you need it most. Mornings and afternoons. Columbus's News Radio 610.
Hey, what's 10?
WTVN.
Hi, I'm Rick
39.
Terrain, and right now
All
at
right.
Lexus, we're celebrating the biggest sales event of the year. December to remember, complete with huge savings and big red bows. Right now, purchase our entire 2019 inventory with rates as low as 0%, or the 2020 NX and newly redesigned RX with rates as low as 0.9%. Get to Germain Lexus and we'll help you plan the surprise of the season. It works better than mistletoe. Get started today at GermainLexus.com. Financing on a limited term with approved credit ends 1/2/20.
This year and every year, give that special someone in your life what they really want for Christmas. Of course, that's a gift card to the Woodhouse Day Spa. The Woodhouse has been chosen as the best of Columbus every year. So, give the best to the best. Of course, that's a gift card to the Woodhouse Day Spa.
The second annual iHeartRadio Podcast Awards return January 17th. This year, we're honoring podcasters for all their hard
Hey,
work.
can you tell us when we're about 15
news,
seconds out
comedy,
from weather?
Best host.
And of course,
Thank you,
Podcast
ma'am.
of the Year. It's
You're
our way of
welcome.
acknowledging the podcasters who impacted us the most in the past year.
Watch the live stream on livexlive.com to find out who the winners are. And visit
15 seconds.
iHeartPodcastAwards.com now to see all of this year's nominees.
The 2020 iHeartRadio Podcast Awards, a true celebration of the podcasts you love.
Getting the cold shoulder? Call Care Heating and Cooling and we'll fix your furnace fast. Call 1-800-COOLING.
All right, happy Saturday. Your ABC 6 first warning weather. Today, cloudy and chilly. Rain slowly tapers off by the afternoon, a high of 42. Tonight, cloudy and colder with a few flurries possible, low 29. Sunday, mostly cloudy and cold. Snow showers likely by late evening, a high of 34. And it is currently 39 degrees on your severe weather station, News Radio 610 WTVN.
Central Ohio's choice for news, traffic, weather, and sports. News Radio 610 WTVN.
Of a white Christmas, just like the ones I used to know.
Sing it, baby. Bing Crosby.
Oh, boy, that's an old one.
Yeah, it is. And Eric, I warned you about letting a novice say the weather. I warned you about that.
I'm never going to hear the end
You
of that.
know
am I?
what? The funny thing is, it wasn't until you started, at least, that I recognize that you're not used to saying ABC 6 for.
Come on.
Okay.
I don't know. Now we just took about 3 steps back on our reputation.
All right. That's the beauty of
come
live
on.
broadcast.
No way. You know, I just realized I've never worked for an ABC affiliate. I worked for Fox and then NBC.
Really?
All right. Well,
That's
we'll be
why
able
it
to
was-
weather the criticism.
And I did.
I got the weather right. It's 39 degrees. That's what you need to know.
And I did throw that into her about 30 seconds before she was going live on that. So, welcome back to On Target. I'm your host, Eric. Joined today in the LAPD studios, JC from the sales team. He sits to my right. My father, co-owner Phil, humbug, sits to my left. You've actually been pretty good the last couple of days, though. I will.
I do have a Santa's hat that says
He was
I
just
know.
dancing to Christmas music.
I know.
Well, you know who that was my music.
Yeah.
I mean,
we go back and
thank
forth
you,
on,
Emily. I appreciate it.
on who chooses the music.
she's a
Come back.
sweetheart.
And to the left on the weather was our good friend Elise Gary. Good seeing you. We're gonna
The new
Good to
weather
see you
girl.
too, Eric.
On target.
Yep.
Happy to be here. 39 degrees again.
There you go. Hey, you'll get a chance at 12:45 too if you want to
All right,
practice
we're
on that a
gonna
little
nail
bit.
that
Yeah,
one.
and let's rehearse it this time, okay?
So, guys, when we went
on.
into break, we were talking about some of the news of the day. And JC, we were talking about the will of the people. And in Virginia, it certainly looks like the will of the people isn't showing through when they're forcing it down. But here's something else that was interesting. Right here in Ohio, there was a group, and let me see if I have the name of the group. It was the here we go, Ohioans for Gun Safety, Dennis Willard's group. And if you remember correctly, they are trying to pass universal background checks. And so they're trying to bring it to the ballot. Well, it's funny because they've come out this week and said, you know what, we're thinking we're not going to do it anytime soon. We're going to wait till 2021.
Right.
But then the next line was because they can't get enough signatures
Didn't
to
have
even
enough
get
signatures
it
to put it on the ballot.
So again, the will of the people here. Look, if you spent a year trying to get signatures and you can't get enough to even get it on the ballot, maybe that should tell you something.
Yeah. I agree. And in Virginia, I don't know how long these guys got elected when the people feel this strong. And that's always been there on the sleeve. We're going to come in and take everything away from you. So now the governor has backed down and said, okay. He sees where that's going. He goes, well, we won't really we'll grandfather in all of these. So they're not really interested about the saving lives. That leaves everything that's out there will be out there. But you're going to have to register them, name, address, serial number, everything that you own. And that's going to go over like a lead balloon.
That's right. So, JC, other news stories out there?
Yeah, we got to talk about this one because it's making national news. A woman in Decatur, Illinois, her ex has been abusing her. So she shot her ex in self-defense after he attacked her in her vehicle. I mean, he was beating her in the face. Well, now she's behind bars with a $75,000 bond. Okay, she shot him in the side. And her abuser's already back out on the street. So the Herald Review newspaper said that the woman was defending herself in her car. Her ex was beating her which he had already done before. She fired in self-defense, hit him in the side, went to the hospital. They said, hey, who did this? They called her, and she goes, yeah, I'll come down. I'll tell you what's going on. They said her face was all battered in, but they noticed she also had a shunt in her head from the last time he beat her, and the doctor said another blow to the head could kill her. So she fired, hit him in self-defense. They're not charging her anything with the self-defense. They thought that's righteous. But although she legally owned the gun, she did not have a concealed handgun license. So she is now facing charges for shooting, and the preliminary charge is aggravated unlawful use of a weapon for lack of a concealed carry license. So, she gets a $75,000 bond and is in jail. He got a $10,000 bond and is out on the streets. And so they think that's not quite as important when you try to beat someone to death as it is for, you defended yourself with a legal gun that was registered, but you didn't have a CCW. And that is what's going on in Illinois.
That's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah. She's still, from the last I heard, she was still in jail. I don't know if that.
Glenn Beck said he's going to start a GoFundMe page to raise $7,500 to get her her bond met. So, but this is the kind of world that we're living in.
The
so
gun was
pretty
registered
crazy.
to her, though?
Yeah, she had a registered gun. She legally owned it. That was registered. And in Illinois, you have to have a firearms identification card to purchase a firearm, But she didn't have her CCW. But because this guy was...
Are CCW laws different than ours here in Ohio?
Yeah, everything is different in other states. So you really, there's just no uniform.
In Illinois, it's even stricter to get it. It's harder to get it traditionally.
Like, are the laws
they are.
Yeah. So they knew she had the gun. She defended her life. In jail, $75,000 bond.
And he had a $10,000 bond.
Right. Yeah, and he's out, and she's in behind
some of
bars.
this stuff is just logic doesn't seem to prevail. JC, tell us about. Now, this is something that popped up this week too. That we had talked about a couple years ago, but it seems to be popping back up in the news with Glock.
Yeah, it's interesting, and we found even more interesting things out this morning, Eric, when we were in your office. But a group in China has been marketing end plates for Glocks that will convert them to full auto, and they have two different versions. One, you put it, you can do it yourself. You pop off the end plate, put it in, and it's a machine pistol. Then they have one that's also selective fire. It costs about $100 more than the other, where you can make it be semi, flip it, and this would be okay if you went through the federal government, you did your background check, your FBI search, and, paid your $200 tax stamp, what you could do. But that's not what happened. They were being shipped illegally from China, and gangs, et cetera, were buying it. As a matter of fact, when they discovered them, the FBI, there are already 2,500 people that had ordered some or many of these things. So I know they're trying to track these folks down and arrest them. Well, now they're popping up again, guess where? In Chicago. In Chicago, this is the ATF in the Chicago division. They're looking for 118 people that had purchased 256 of these. And again, it's something you can install at home without tools. And they're marketing, and this is what surprised us. And we both disagree with it. You can buy them right now online. You just pull it up, and you have them ordered, because until they're installed, it's a paperweight, as they claim. It's this little tiny little piece, I don't know, kind of a paper that would weigh down. But once it's installed, it's illegal. But do you think the gangs and folks are, really caring about this? So far, Chicago's reported no accidents or no use of the fully automatic ones in their gang-related or other activities. But the ATF is trying but right now they are still out there.
Right.
They're worse than bump stocks, in my opinion, anyway. So,
absolutely. I mean, they're more to be able to put that into a Glock and get that in the hands of the gang.
And they may have say Glock on them, but they may not be made by Glock, so it could be an infringement of their thing. But the good news is, real quickly, if we have it, Glock has just announced.
Well, we'll have to get to it after the news,
we'll cover
JC.
This. Okay, we'll cover this
after the bottom of our news, we're going to get to JC's Gun of the Week, talk a little bit about arm braces, and a new announcement from Glock this week. We're on target, broadcasting live from the studios of LEPD Firearms and Range. We'll be right back after the news.
There's a lot of people that focus on the economy every day, whether it's your personal economy, you're investing, you're looking at the macro economy of the globe. But hey, let's just talk about it from a practical perspective. You want to diversify. A lot of people will check out gold and silver. And if you're thinking about gold and silver, maybe need a little information about adding that, why don't you stop by Allen's Coin Shop? Allen's Coin Shop is flush. I mean, they've got great inventory and can talk you through. If you want to buy silver because it's less expensive than gold, you can buy it in U.S. Mint products, or you can just buy it in ounce, 5 ounce, 10 ounce, up to 100 ounce bars. Stash it away, and if you want a tangible asset, or if the price goes way up and you just want to cash out, It's easy to do at Allen's. Gold the same way. I mean, recently, gold topped $1,400 an ounce. That means there's a lot of people buying and a lot of people selling, which means the inventory is always gettable. And while you're there, poke around. It's a collector's paradise, I promise. State Street in Westerville or online at allensinc.com. Allen's Coin Shop, serving collectors since 1960.
News, traffic, and weather for Columbus. News Radio 610, WTVN.
We are continuing to follow a developing story west of Cincinnati in Hillsborough, where police are investigating an apparent murder-suicide this morning. Hamilton County deputies and the Ohio State Highway Patrol responded to a home along US 50 for a report of a woman shot in the head just after midnight. Police say the gunman fled the scene and broke into a Hillsborough church where deputies barricaded him.
Yep,
He was
sounds
later
great. You guys
reported
have
dead.
about 1
Authorities confirmed
1
he killed
minute.
himself.
All right. Hey, I'm going to try to
No
go
names have
kind
been
of short
released.
here to get
A man faces
a
criminal
longer
charges
last
after a
segment.
half-dressed toddler was found wandering in the cold in Springfield Township. Police say Christopher Harris's 3-year-old daughter left the house while Harris was asleep, wearing nothing but a diaper, a T-shirt, and socks. Today is it if you want to use the U.S. Postal Service for regular shipping. Your deadline is today. The next major holiday shipping deadline is Thursday, December 19th for the pricier 3-day UPS or Friday for first-class U.S. mail. I'm Macy Jepson.
Here's an unexpected holiday surprise. A flash sale on all earrings at Diamonds Direct. This weekend, 25% off. This is something we never do, but we made a last-minute decision. All earrings marked down an incredible 25%. Diamond studs, diamond hoops, colored gemstone earrings, all included. It is one truly epic earring event. What woman doesn't love a nice pair of diamond stud earrings for Christmas? Make it happen this weekend and save an unprecedented 25%. Special financing available too. Friday through Sunday only, and only at Diamonds Direct.
On Polaris Parkway.
Diamonds Direct's just decided to squeeze in one more incredible event before Christmas. A flash sale on all earrings. This weekend. Yes! Save an unprecedented 25% off all earrings at Diamonds Direct. Get Diamonds Direct's unbeatable price plus an extra 25% savings. All diamond studs are included. So this is huge. Special financing too. Guys, you can never go wrong with a nice pair of diamond stud earrings. And you've never seen prices this low. It's Friday through Sunday only. A truly epic earring event at Diamonds Direct.
On Polaris Parkway. Shop Rod's Western Palace for true Western living, located at 3099 Silver Drive or at rods.com.
Live from LAPD Firearms Range and Training Facility, this is On Target, the latest from the firearms industry, the products and politics that affect your hobby and liberty. This program may not be politically correct, but it is On Target. Now, your host, Eric Delbert.
Welcome back to On Target. I'm your host, Eric, joined today in the LAPD studios. That's at 999 Bethel Road. We're right here in the middle of the store, actually. If you're in the area, kind of worth stopping by and checking us out. I'm Eric. I'm the host. JC is my good friend, one of our top sales guys, sits to my right. My father and co-owner, it sits to my left. And today we have a guest. And, and I'm so happy to see you here, Elise. We give you a lot of grief and everything. But it's great to see you here. I'm glad you joined us. Yeah, you do take it and stuff. Elise Gary was with Channel 4 for a number of years.
Yes.
Is now with iHeartMedia. And so you'll hear her voice quite a bit on 610 now, amongst other stations.
Yeah.
And was on with Blazer yesterday, so good.
Yes.
And you're working on
great.
the weather, right? That's something you're hoping to get.
Yeah.
Meteorology.
Yeah.
Yes.
There you go.
No.
JC, tight on time, but
Tight on time,
there was
but,
another
okay.
good announcement this week.
This is a good announcement, finally. And this, go buy some stock in Glock Inc. Because Glock is introducing a new Glock, the Glock 44. And believe it or not, it is exactly like a Model 19, except it is in .22 long rifle. And they said they've tested it through tens and hundreds of thousands of rounds. And they said it's incredibly reliable, just like they made a big deal about it's going to be as reliable as all the rest of their guns, even though it's on .22. We know about those. It's unique in the fact that it has a hybrid steel polymer slide. So as we know, .22 has less recoil energy, so you have to have some polymer to lighten it, but it's got steel inside of it. And it's all got the 5th generation features, ambidextrous slide stop, a reversible magazine catch. It's got the Glock Marksman barrel, and they did find out Gen 5s are more accurate than the other barrels. Adjustable back straps, of course, what they always have, but it does come with adjustable sights. If you have a .22, you're going to need adjustable sights on your gun to be a happy gun owner. And it's got a ghost hole loaded for a loaded chamber indicator. They haven't had those in their guns, but now you can peer down there to see if there's a cartridge in the chamber or not. Comes standard with 2 10-rounds, so it's not the 1,000-round Glock magazine kind of things, but you come with 2 10-round magazines. The launch date's going to be January 20th of 2020, so coming up. So start save your bucks. So
JC, I'm going to be as nice as I can. I'm going to be just kind of I'm not going to throw judgment here, but this was a big announcement this week. They did a whole big live feed, and people could tune in and see the announcement and all this. And the next day, another manufacturer did an announcement, but didn't have nearly the
bells and whistles.
The bells
and
and whistles, right?
Yeah.
So it was done by simply an email, and pretty big announcement. And the next day, they sent us a firearm for free to use on the range. That's a pretty good announcement.
That is a good announcement.
And that is your gun of the week this week. So what other big announcement was this week?
So the other big announcement by an incredibly reputable American company whose firearms have a lifetime warranty. I don't know if anybody else has that. The gun of the week this week, it's old but new. And this is the Smith & Wesson has now come out with the EZ9 Shield. So it's the 9 Shield EZ, as they call it. So we're familiar with the 380 EZ. It's got the golden bullseye gun of the week, or gun of the year, pardon me. And now they made it in the 9mm version. Some people haven't looked at it because they just want 9mm. So if you're not familiar with it, it's got exactly the features that the 380 has, the EZ380. You can even have a magazine loader that you pull it down from the side of the magazine to help load it. All the features are the same. It has the automatic grip safety, which is very easy and reliable. It's hinged from the bottom. The only difference is basically it's a 9mm instead of 380, and it weighs 4.5 ounces more because you need a heavier slide and spring to absorb the recoil energy. Yet it still is easy to rack, much easier than most of the other slides. So you have all of those features.
And it's on the range right now.
And it's on the range
you can
right
come
now.
shoot 'em.
Matter of fact, I pulled this one off the range just to show you folks. So available with or without the ambidextrous safety. A lot of people just like no safety on the thing. Loaded chamber indicator. It's beautiful. You can hang a light on it or a laser, whatever you wish. It's reliable. So
and we're getting people asking on Facebook, JC, Mitch, and a couple others about how it shoots and stuff. We haven't done a full testing on it yet. So we in the weeks to come, we will definitely get it up there, compare it.
We just put it out last night. The new guys on the range didn't know we had it, and I said, it's out there. So let's get some folks out there. Available for rent, and
we're going to jump to a break here. But before we do that, we want to give a shout out to a couple people who joined us on Facebook. Big Ed is out there, and I also just saw the quarterback for the DC Defenders is listening in. Cardell Jones is on there right now.
Right.
Yeah. So
wow.
From DC.
From DC.
When we come back, we're going to talk about the arm brace. It's something that came out about 8 years ago, and it has really hit the ground running, and something I think is here to stay. We'll tell you a little bit about the history and whether you should have one or not. We're on Target. We're broadcasting live from the studios of LEPD Firearms and Range. We'll be right back after the break.
Hi, I'm Rick Germain from the all-new Germain Hyundai. During the Hyundai Holiday Sales Event at Germain Hyundai, purchase the 2020 Elantra and Santa Fe or the 2019 Tucson with 0% financing for 72 months. We're so excited to welcome Hyundai into our family, and there isn't a better time to experience Germain Hyundai than right now. For amazing holiday savings and the peace of mind of Hyundai Assurance.
What kind of weather you got there, Em?
100,000-mile
39 still.
39. We're going to give Elise another try here.
She did fantastic.
I know.
Ends 1/2/20.
Make this holiday
Can you give us
season
15
the
seconds
one
out
that
again?
will always be remembered.
Yes.
Give your family a pool from Omni Pools. Hi, this is Scott Savage with Omni Pools. Our professional service team can design your dream pool using 3D imaging and custom build it specifically for you. As a gift from us, get $5,000 off your new Omni Pool. Schedule an appointment at omnipools.net or visit our design studio in Hilliard. Make this holiday season the best ever.
Sorry, Eric.
With a $5,000 offer from Omni Pools.
My button
Omni
stuck.
Pools is a division of Omni Group.
Home of burgers, breakfast, and big boy.
Your ABC 6 first warning weather. Today, cloudy and chilly. Rain slowly tapers off by the afternoon, a high of 42. Tonight, cloudy and colder with a few flurries possible, a low of 29. Sunday, mostly cloudy and cold. Snow showers likely by late evening, a high of 34. And right now, it is currently 39 degrees on your severe weather station, News Radio 610 WTVN.
News, traffic, weather, and sports. News Radio 610 WTVN.
Traveling in a Fiat Combi on a hippie trailhead full of zombies.
You recognize that one, Papa?
I met a strange lady.
CD.
That is off your CD. Men at Work Down Under.
Yes.
And that was, if you're just tuning in, that was our own Elise Chingary on the weather there.
Yes.
You know what?
What a job. Yes,
you know what?
very
you
good,
might,
yeah.
You might have a career someday in TV and stuff.
I think
That's
we'll
right.
keep her on for a
Really?
little bit. Yeah.
You think?
I don't know. I mean, it's something you should consider.
She could be our official meteorologist.
Yeah,
so
can you
there
come
go.
12,
Not
15?
meteorology. I have my degree in communications broadcasting.
All you
and
gotta
I'm
do is come
sticking
and
with
read
You
it.
don't have
So
to know.
you
You
can-
don't have to know anything about weather to be
You're
one.
right,
you
because
look
I just use
outside.
my iPhone
Yeah.
and I just go on there and I just grab the temperature.
There
It
you
works
go.
right
Outside, see
just
if
like
it's
that.
raining.
Well, welcome
Or
back
you just
on
walk outside.
Target America. I'm your host. Sitting to my right is JC, our good friend from the sales team. My father and co-owner Phil sits to my left, and joining us today, our good friend Elise Chingary. You might have seen her on Channel 4 for years and years, and now you're going to hear her on the radio a little bit.
right.
Not just with us. You were on with Blazer yesterday, and you're
Yes.
going to be doing some news and all kinds of promo stuff. So it's good to have you back, and good to have you here finally.
Thank you very much. I know you've wanted me on here for more than like 2.5 years, and here we are finally today.
Finally,
Good.
finally.
Happy to be here.
So, guys, in 2012, something hit the market that none of us really anticipated the impact at the time. Over the past 7 years, it was deemed legal, then illegal, then legal again. And then by all accounts, it's here to stay now. We're talking about what is commonly referred to as either the SIG arm brace, the blade, or any number of terms.
Stabilizing brace seemed
Stabilizing
to be what
brace.
it was first called, yeah.
And now it's available from most manufacturers, and it really gives an alternative to a traditional stock for a pistol platform. So traditionally, if you wanted a shorter barrel AR or AK or anything rifle, you had to send in $200, go through 9 months to a year in
Pay a
paperwork.
$200 tax stamp.
Right, and you would get a
Short-barreled,
stamp
yeah.
to own a short-barreled rifle. And what this essentially has done, it has put this arm brace on these short-barreled rifles, and it allows you to buy it right off the shelf. And so, JC, tell us a little bit about how it evolved and how it got here.
Yeah, in 2012 was the year that the guy came up, and the gentleman, and we certainly owe him a great debt. He had as a paradigm shift in our in the firearms industry. Comes rarely. Alex Bosco was his name. He was both a Marine Corps and Army veteran, returned to the States from Afghanistan and Iraq. He went to a shooting range with a fellow disabled combat veteran, and the gentleman couldn't handle the weapon because I guess one arm may have been damaged, missing, and he really had a difficult time. And Alex came up with this idea of a stabilizing brace that you could hold it, but it would hook underneath your forearm, and the weight would keep it balanced and allow him to enjoy his Second Amendment rights and to shoot. And so basically it fit on the end, has a couple of wings that fit over your forearm, strapped on so it doesn't fall off, and he came up with this. So this is in 2012, but he had to go to the ATF because he's following the law, and in 2013, he submitted it, and ATF in 2013 gave him an approval letter. Now that he had the letter that they said it was okay to do this, then he started going around to manufacturers to see if they would buy his brace. And his company was called the SB Tactical, Stabilizing Brace Tactical, and that's what it stood for. And the first two companies to adopt it was Century Arms International. A lot of people don't know that. That was one of the first ones. And then Sig Sauer, which is what people actually kind of bought into. So Sig Sauer bought into it in a big way, launched their line of Sig AR pistols with the SIG brace, which was what people thought that's what SB stood for, was SIG brace. It took off that much. So in 2014, the ATF issued a second letter because they had some questions. Police officers saying, hey, these guys are using this, but I see people holding it up to the shoulder. And the ATF issued a second letter saying, and the quote was, for the following reasons, we've determined that firing a pistol from the shoulder would not cause a pistol to be reclassified as a short barrel rifle. So they actually included these letters when we were selling them, so you could actually, someone questioned it, you go, hey, here's a letter from the ATF. That was in 2014. Well, now everyone said, hey, if this is okay by the ATF, all the manufacturers started manufacturing firearms that could incorporate this short-barreled, this stabilizing brace and not be a short-barreled rifle. Well, they got so many requests from the ATF, someone said, wait a minute, we better look at this again. So then, right before the SHOT Show in 2015, they issued a statement after all these manufacturers were making this, and they had an open letter, and that they issued a letter, again, as I said, right before the SHOT Show, and the letter basically stated that, and this is the quotes, the pistol stabilizing brace was neither designed nor approved to be used as a shoulder stock, and therefore the use of a shoulder stock constitutes a redesign of the device because the processor has changed the function of the item, therefore it is illegal. And you would need, they treated it as a short-barreled rifle after all these things were out here.
Which was totally asinine because the firearm was the same. I mean, when you put the brace on it, whether you were firing it from an arm brace position or whether you were shouldering, it didn't change the firearm. You know, if I want to fire it with one hand on the ground or whatever, the firearm hasn't changed.
And that was what they did. They called it remanufacturing, and that was not the case. You just simply put it. So anyway, so they said, and I'm doing the quote here from the article, it said that 2015 and 16 were dark times for the brace industry. Now people had all these guns. You didn't know, is it illegal? Am I going to get arrested? Is it a felony charge to have a short-barreled rifle without? So it was really, we had a lot of customers going, now what do? I have this, paid the money for it, put it on, where am I going to be? Well, it goes back to Bosco. He went with his attorneys, and Alex Bosco spent a significant amount of time, money, and attorney's fees. And for 2 years, they went back and forth with the ATF. So after further review of the products, on March of 2017, the ATF issued a private letter, not open letter, but a private letter to SB Tactical saying that their previous interpretations were incorrect. They made a mistake, and yes, you could sell these. So right now, everything is gangbusters again. We have several of these out. You can buy the braces and put them on yourself. You can buy firearms that already have these on, the Scorpio Evo, the Saint. There's too many to name. There's so many out there that have these. So they just have to keep, if you see these adjustable ones, they can only adjust to the maximum length that the ATF would allow for the overall to still be a pistol. So it's got to be under 26
So,
inches.
JC, I mean, some people are drawing similarities between this and the bump stock. In my opinion, the bump stock was more of a novelty. It was something that didn't really have any practical use for it, and when that got banned and stuff, I think a lot of people weren't all that concerned. This has a lot of practicality in it.
Absolutely.
And it is, when you look at it, I know I have a couple firearms with it now, and it really allows, for maneuverability, and it allows you to not have to go through up to a year of background check on it. And it's not to say when you buy it, you still are going through a background check. It's just not the tax stamp background check. And I think it's a great thing. There's all kinds of different products out there now, depending on what you like and different formations of it. And
it has really taken off. And you just have just a sampling of some of them. I went on to Midway last night just to look at what they had offered, and I think I counted 26 different forms of stabilizers that you could have. Some were under the, for the chin to rest on, but most of them were like the ones we have here. And you can put these on yourself. You got to have a wrench for the castle nut and things like that, but you can have, our gunsmith can put these on. They're legal to own. We have the letters from the ATF. I mean, they're out there. It's the industry knows it, and they're marketing these guns.
And it's certainly, when you look at some of the AR pistols that were out there previously, or the AK pistols, that weren't really feasible to shoot without a stock. I mean, they weren't accurate. I mean, you're kind of holding it out there in space, and certainly it's nothing you would use for defense because you couldn't control it.
They were dangerous to shoot because it was hard for people to hold them steadily, and now these make that a steady, stabilizing brace like it was intended.
Right. Two big brands probably in this arena are SB Tactical.
The founders, yep.
And you see, if you're watching on Facebook Live, which is a great place to watch the show, you can see the different models out there. There's one of my favorite one is, I think they called it, what they call the PDW JC, and it's right here. If you're watching on Facebook, you can see it on one of the rifles.
Yeah,
it really collapses upon itself and makes it very short.
It's really, you can pull this out into several different positions. Really sturdy, and it just so it is adjustable for length in case you do pull it up. But still, even at the overall, with the barrel ending right here, still meets the criteria for the ATF as far as a pistol goes. So that's a really, really nice one. We talked earlier, you had that the one that kind of opens up like a V, and there's no strap on it. Now, I do have to warn people about this. The ones that come with straps, you cannot alter the brace by taking the strap off. We have seen people come in here and going, oh, yeah, this strap, I'm not really using it, so I'm going to take it off. Now you've altered that configuration, and now technically you have done something that would make it illegal to be able to shoot. So if you got a strap that holds this on, even if you're going to occasionally shoot from the shoulder, do not take that strap off. That alters the brace. So now the V1 I like does not have a strap. It just pops open.
Right.
You hold the gun. The weight of it presses up against. It's really
and they call that,
really
I think, the J hook.
The J hook. Okay.
And that one is relative to these. It has a plastic piece that folds down and allows your arm to sit right in it.
Forgetting me. It's just escaping me right now.
Right.
We saw it in your office, but Deere or something. But anyway, but there's so many different styles. So if you want to come in here, we have 3 or 4. Some are just blades now that they have that don't really, that you can kind of tuck in, but don't really hook, but still allows you to use your shoulder and your armpit to stabilize the gun without mounting it into your shoulder, but underneath your arm.
And one of the ones, JC, one of the other big names in this, and it's not inexpensive, is Maxim. And they seem to be on the forefront of kind of the higher end ones. And they have recently come out with one on a firearm that they make, the Maxim PDX, which is it's incredible. It's a 5.56, 223 5.56 pistol with an overall length of 18 inches.
Wow.
And barrel length of 5 inches. So we're talking a short pistol.
I would not want to be standing next to the person firing that. Or,
believe it or not, though, with that muzzle brake, it is not bad.
That's because you're behind it. I said I would not want to be standing next to it. So, yeah.
But with that, they came out with yet a different style of this arm brace. And this one, most of these work off of a standard buffer tube. And so you can easily adapt it to an AR pistol or a common AR. This particular one now we're starting to see is a very short buffer tube, only 4 inches long.
Wow.
So what that allows you to do is to really make that stock, compact. But as you would imagine, if you know anything about how the ARs work, it doesn't allow enough space for the spring in the buffer tube.
For the buffer tube.
So what they have done, JC, I don't know if we pulled this apart when you were back there or not, the buffer tube is actually part of the bolt now.
Yeah, you'd mentioned, I didn't get a chance to see that, but
right.
When you tore it down, but you told me that it was now part of the bolt.
So when you pull that apart, the spring is no longer, I guess, captured there.
Just in the tube.
Right. It goes clear to the...
It extends up to the bolt. So.
Right. So, but it allows for an extremely, in this case, 18 inches overall. Yeah. And then we're coming out with, probably a little bit of ahead of myself here, but we're coming out with a one that we've put together. The base unit is a Troy Defense, and it has a 7.5-inch barrel, and it's going to have that same stock on it, and one of their muzzle brakes on it as well. So.
Yeah, I don't want to be shooting a bottleneck cartridge that has a barrel shorter than my 38.
And then that is a consideration. I mean, these are a lot of times when people go to these AR pistols or AK pistols, it's meant for up close or blackout. 300 blackout is enormously popular now. We're not talking about ones that are going to be as effective at 300 yards, but that's not their intended use.
And briefly, for the folks out there going, this is all crazy. No, it wasn't. When we did the Gun Test magazine where they tested guns for self-defense and penetration, they found that a 55-grain hollow point out of a .223 penetrated less ammo than a typical .380, let alone any of the rest of them as far as through drywall and stuff. Because it disintegrated if you missed something. It just went out so fast. So they really are excellent for home defense. I mean, they actually penetrate less. Well, they're loud. But, if someone's coming in trying to kill you, maybe the noise will frighten them away. But if you miss, it has less penetration than any of the other handgun rounds. So good for home defense.
Popo, you haven't said anything. What do you what's your thought on these?
Well, you haven't mentioned the price on any of these.
Well, you know what? That's a good point. The SB Tacticals have come down in price. Most of them, I think, sit under $200 now. The entry-level one, I believe, is below $100. Unfortunately, the Maxim ones are up there. They're at $350.
They're
easy, $350 to $500. So it's definitely something that you're going to, take an investment on.
But it's an investment, like you said.
It is, and it really changes the functionality of it.
And if you're going to use it for home defense, which is a great reason to have this, it makes it more practical than having a longer firearm.
And JC, the one we have here, I think it was a Radical. It came on the firearm, and it's the entire platform is very reasonable. I mean, $800, and you get the brace along with the short barrel.
And I like the brace. I mean, it's a really nice adjustable brace.
Right. So, guys, that is about it for the week. Elise, thanks so much for joining.
Thank you for having me.
When you coming back next?
And I love that there's a dog just roaming around here.
Right.
So
That's
cute.
Hey, Paw, we actually had someone ask on Facebook, why does Paw keep leaning down? So
because
we're petting.
We're petting the dog.
Yeah.
Or else you're checking out her shoes to see if the zipper's down.
I told her I wasn't looking at her shoes.
Yeah.
Yeah, the dog comes by and sometimes you have to reach down and pet him.
Phil, you'd look good in those Jordans. So that
so
red and white.
Yeah, you like these?
Yeah.
You got to get these for your dad for Christmas.
All right.
You thought of his gift. And I'll be on whenever you want me on next, Eric.
Okay, great. You practice on the weather, though. We need a little more crisper on that weather.
Weather is not my expertise. Come on, people.
All you got to do is read.
News is my expertise.
There we go.
Guys, next week we're going to have some of our employees actually on with us. They're going to talk about some of their favorite items in the store and some of their favorite used guns. So you get ready for that, Paw.
Close to Christmas. So,
it is.
Hey, come in. We have gift cards.
I've got
if you don't
the
know what to get
revolvers.
someone, come in and get a gift card.
I've got the revolvers, so I'll
Right.
talk about the revolvers.
And there's been a couple neat ones that came through. I'm kind of curious to see if you're going to walk away with that one.
No. But now the belt, yes. The belt and the...
That belt looks heavy.
But you need an end frame.
Yeah, some of these 38s are fused in here.
Oh, you get that sometimes.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for spending the last hour with us. Stop by and see us. We have a ton of specials still going on. We have gift cards still available. We still have a couple free guns available with the level 2 membership.
With the level 2 membership and some of the guns. I just sold one the other day. The guy goes, "You mean my membership cost me $15?" I said, "Yeah, that's what the guns were." So there you go.
Have a great week. Stop by and see us. 999 Bethel Road.
From the Elk and Elk Studios, Elk and Elk, working for every client every day. Call 1-800-ELK-OHIO. News Radio 610 WTVN.
You don't become a good listener overnight. It takes practice. For more than 100 years, we at Mutual of Omaha have been listening to our customers.